Hello guys and welcome back to another video. You're probably wondering what we're going to be talking about today, and I'll give you a quick rundown of the Eternal Fire situation. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late on the subject, but basically I will be talking about today about the Eternal Fire to Aurora situation and why it happened, because I have some very interesting insights that you might have not heard anywhere else, since I didn't, for example. So quick background, who is Eternal Fire? Eternal Fire was a fully Turkish team, managed, created, and its players were all Turkish. So it was an organization that was meant to represent the country, that had some decent winnings. They had 1.1 million players, and they had some pretty significant players, as you might know: Xantares, Waxic, Wicaria, Major, and Jota. So pretty big names, pretty big players that suddenly, on the date of 5th of April, just transitioned from Eternal Fire to Aurora without any prior warnings. Nobody knew this was happening, only they knew. Basically, here we have the tweet of Aurora announcing their move. And so we're not going to have any more Eternal Fire stickers in the game. Nothing's going to happen with Eternal Fire anymore. They basically just went out of the CS scene. They sold everything, and you might be wondering why. Well, we're gonna get to that in a second, but first let's see what the community has to say about this move. Look, Waxic, not even knowing that this was gonna be announced this soon. Eternal Fire says that they're gonna support it. The Mongols, another team that's country based, is also very confused what's happening. Everyone was confused. It came out of nowhere. Nobody knew it was happening. And now we can get into why it happened, basically. So if you aren't aware, PyroSwap was a website that was used for trading, I'm pretty sure. And they were supporting Eternal Fire. Now, reportedly, and we don't have any fact-checking sources for this, the deal between Eternal Fire and PyroSwap is worth around 6 figures, but I don't think it was enough to fulfill the wishes of the Eternal Fire staff and their needs. So they sold Eternal Fire basically to Aurora, to a Serbian organization run by a Russian CEO. And basically now, because in Turkey it's illegal to have gambling anywhere as your sponsor as of anything, between many things like no more Discord and stuff, but we won't get into details. But basically, Eternal Fire was not allowed to take a gambling sponsor like all of the teams in the top flight, because they pay the best. G2 has csgo Roll, and a lot of big teams have gambling sponsors because they pay millions and millions of euros. But Eternal Fire was behind the curve. They were not paid enough in their eyes for what they were getting with their deal with PyroSwap, and because they couldn't do gambling and nobody was offering a better deal, they got sold to Aurora and are now sponsored by a big-time gambling organization that I will not name because it is not CS related and I do not want to make free promotions to them. But basically, what has happened is they sold to Aurora, and the second they sold, they got involved with that gambling company that's paying them 7 figures, and it's way better financially for the team. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, first of all. And second of all, I have done an opening of 50 Antwerp 2022 capsules, and here are the biggest highlights of that opening. Well guys, that was it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys had a great day. We didn't get that lucky on the capsules. I will show you the profit up in the corner or loss, and have a great day. Bye bye.